to Reading. The Southcote district of Reading, a green and pleasant suburb for most. But for those unfortunate enough to be living on Byfield Road, Brunel Road and Hatfield Road, the centre of a postcode lottery that made their lives a living hell, as the Sullivan family know only too well.
It all started about 3 years ago. Alison was having to get up in the middle of the night and sleep downstairs on the settee because she couldn't take it. I couldn't even listen to the television on an afternoon because she would hear them between the floors.
I've got tablets that help me sleep. It's just been absolute one nightmare from start to finish.
And what is the horror that has made their lives such a misery? The lottery of postcode pest control. There are an estimated 80 million rats in the UK, and some experts claim that as you sit and watch this television programme, there is a rat just 6 feet away from you. In the past 5 years, there has been an estimated 39% increase in the UK rat population. Some blame longer periods between bin collections. Some blame private water companies not dealing with decrepit sewage systems. But many other experts are blaming a postcode lottery that allows local councils to charge such high prices for pest control that people cannot afford to prevent vermin populations spiralling. In the past 5 years, 60% of local councils have begun charging a fee to rid us of rats. And in some postcodes, if you can't pay for the problem to be dealt with, you might just have to live with it, as the Sullivan family in Reading were to find to their cost.
We'd lived in Hafford Road for 15 years, and then 3 years ago, we started getting a problem with rats. There were now cavities. They had the fan out of the wall in the kitchen. Carpets were chewed. They were on the kids' bed, in our wardrobes, urinating on our clothes. The damage was untold, and the smell, it was horrendous, you know.
Faced with a problem not of their making to begin with, the Sullivans tried to deal with the situation themselves.
We went to the supermarket and bought the boxes of rat poison. I put trays in the wardrobes, under beds, under chest of drawers. Got up every morning, all the poison was gone. We'd have to then go out to the supermarket, get more poison, do it again. There's never any results. I think I found one dead rat in the kitchen, and I think that was because it was hit by a trap. I don't think the poison done anything at all, just fed them.
The Sullivans then sought help from a private pest control company.
We got a company in from London, and I think they cost us over £130. That was just for one visit.
That visit didn't resolve the problem, but they were unable to afford another £130, so the rats kept on coming.
They chewed through the bottom of my door, and were actually using it to come in and out and get into the airing cupboard where all the pipes were. At first I blocked it up, and one night one of them came to it, tried getting through, so I kicked the door to try and scare it away. Opened the blockage and it just ran in and went straight into the airing cupboard. Normal nights here now, when I'm going to sleep, you just expect to hear them running across the loft. You just wait for the sound.
I mean, I walked into Maisie's bedroom one day and there was 2 rats actually sat on the bed. And they were just... They didn't even care that I was there. That didn't even scare them. You know, I had to kick the bed for them to move. It was just ridiculous. It was all I was trespassing, not them. She wouldn't sleep in her bed anymore. So that meant one of us was downstairs. And we were only a 4-inch wall apart, and she just wouldn't go in there anymore.
Unable to contain the rat infestation and aware that they were not the only residents in the area dealing with the issue, they turned to Reading Council for help. But what many of us don't realise is that pest control is such a postcode lottery because local councils are not legally obliged to provide a pest control service, and most certainly not for free. Did you know that under the 1949 Prevention of Pests Act, your council is required to do whatever is necessary to keep your district free from rats and mice? And in 21st century postcode lottery Britain, that means your council has to do one of 3 things. If you live in Birmingham, Belfast, East Renfrewshire, Tower Hamlets or Swansea, congratulations! Your council is one of an ever-decreasing number who offer a domestic rat-catching service absolutely free. If, however, you live in Fife, Kirklees, Haringey, the Cotswolds, Powys or Omagh, sorry, your council is one of an ever-increasing number whose pest control department will charge you anything from a fiver to almost £150 to come out and attempt to treat your problem. But there's another option. If you live in West Norfolk, Brentwood, Cornwall, Epping Forest or Carmarthenshire, I'm here to inform you that your council is one of the 10% who no longer provide a pest control service at all. Some councils will tell you to contact a specialist pest control contractor, but some might warn you that unless you take action, you might be prosecuted under the 1949 Prevention of Damage by Pests Act. Ouch. Back in Reading, the good news for the Sullivans was that their council did provide a service. The bad news was there was a fee.
The council rat catcher came in. He was £25 for 3 visits. I think we paid him at least 3 times, I think. It got to the stage where he was our Monday morning wake-up call because he was coming that often. We were on first name terms. I mean, he'd put the poison in the loft and it was like feeding time at the zoo. It was like a cavalry charge coming across the loft to come and eat the poison. But all the time the council were just, no, there's not a problem. It's all down to us.
For 2 years, the Sullivans paid the council repeated fees for the unsuccessful treatment of their rat infestation. The council blamed the Sullivans for the situation, whilst acknowledging in correspondence that there appeared to be a wider problem in the local area. To rub salt into the wounds, when the Sullivans were yet again forced to contact the council's pest control service in early 2011, they were astonished to find there had been an overnight 500% hike in the cost of the service.
Said it would be £127 plus VAT, I think, or £110 plus VAT, which worked out £127.
Caught out in a postcode lottery catch-22, the Sullivans were forced to pay around £127, knowing that in nearby South Oxfordshire, a similar service would have cost £26, whilst just down the road in Slough, the residents were only being charged a tenner, and still Reading Council would not budge.
Council denied there wasn't a problem even up to June the 27th this year. They sent me a letter stating that there wasn't a problem. Then the next week they asked us to move out and move in to these premises where we are now.
Without warning, the council moved the Sullivans out of their rat-infested home and into their current temporary address. And the catalyst for this sudden decision? On the 1st of July 2011, an elderly bedridden neighbour was gnawed by rats as she lay recovering from a stroke. The neighbour later died in hospital. It took this terrible incident for the council to finally acknowledge that there was a problem across the whole neighbourhood and not just at the Sullivans' home. And this was 3 years after they first raised the issue. In a statement given to the Postcode lottery team, Reading Council say, when the infestation in the area became apparent, all evidence pointed towards a drainage source. The council and Thames Water jointly focused efforts in this direction and significant baiting took place, including in the sewers. There were significant proofing works carried out to stop entry into properties. Both of these measures had the required effect. But that required effect has come 3 years too late for the Sullivans. Hundreds of pounds out of pocket and still living in temporary accommodation, they are desperately hoping that Reading Council will not force them to move back into the council house of their worst nightmares.
We definitely don't want to go back to our old house, because we're just going to be laid there at night waiting for the noises to start again. Maisie's going to have nightmares. Every time you see a speck of black dust on your carpet, you think a rat's been in.
Since we filmed The Sullivans, Reading Council has backtracked on its exorbitant price hike. In January of this year, pest control services were slashed from £127 to £70, or £45 for concessions. The council also released a statement saying that after their 500% price hike, their pest control department suffered a big drop in requests for treatment, from around 600 a year to just 84 on average. A statement which just gives weight to the experts who blame the pest control charges postcode lottery for the ever-increasing rat population.